Okay, it says we're recording, so you should be good to go.
Okay. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to go over communication topic, decision-making and problem solving in communication. Hello, my name is Chrissy Ayler. I'm going to tell you why decision-making and problem solving go hand in hand when we communicate. Have you ever wondered how two political parties can be so different yet still manage to come together to make the right choices for the good of the people they're representing? It's simpler, really. It's by using the tips, tricks, and tools we use in our everyday lives to make the smallest decisions, such as should I make my bed this morning, onto the much larger ones, like is this the day I buy the new car? Though they sound like drastically different situations, the same strategies are applied as a course of action is being decided, all beginning with the choices we make. Sorry, let me get caught up here with my slides. I'm going to go over some of those strategies now. It all begins with understanding group decision-making and problem solving. To understand them, we must first define them. Group decision-making is the act of making a judgment or choosing a possibility or conclusion. In a group setting, decision-making results. In a group setting, decision-making results is in a position, opinion, judgment, or action. Problem solving is a complicated process where teams assess an issue and come up with a plan to either solve it or lessen its negative impacts. Most groups make decisions, but not all groups solve problems. To do this, a group must have a clear goal. Next slide. With this clear goal, let's start again. To do this, the group must have a clear goal. Effective groups have a clear common goal that everyone understands and supports. It must include quality content. Well-informed groups are more likely to make good decisions. The amount and accuracy of information available to a group are critical factors in predicting its successes. The key to becoming a well-informed group lies in the ability of members to collect, share, and analyze the information needed to achieve the group's goal. When a group lacks relevant and valid information, effective decision-making and problem-solving become difficult or even impossible. There must be structured procedures. Group communication scholar Marshall Scott Poole claims that structured procedures are the heart of a group work and the most powerful tools we have to improve the conduct of meetings. Effective groups keep a balance between independent, creative thinking and structured, coordinated work. There must also be a commitment to deliberation. Deliberation is the act of thinking about or discussing something and deciding carefully. All members must be dedicated to meeting each other's needs, resolving conflicting tensions, and being well prepared and willing to take on difficult responsibilities for decision-making and problem-solving to be effective. Knowing that deliberation is and what it should be will not conduct anything unless group members apply its principles. In the complex process of problem solving, groups evaluate a problem and devise a strategy to either resolve it or mitigate its adverse effects. Several jurors in Latah County, where I served, made up their minds before our trial ever started, which made it much more difficult to have a thoughtful conversation about the facts once the trial was over. Collaborative communication climate is another. I think we missed a slide, sorry. Or they got mixed up. We're just going to move on. Collaborative communication climate. A group with a clear goal, quality content, a structured process, and a commitment to deliberation can fail if it does not build and keep a collaborative communication climate. If the communication climate or a group is hostile, defensive, apathetic, ruthlessly competitive, and/or inconsiderate, group morale and productivity will quickly decline. Groups are more likely to thrive if they work in a supportive climate. For example, we will listen to all points of view. We will ask for facts as well as opinions. We will be tough on issues, but not on one another. And we will openly find and put aside our business biases and agendas. feel like we're way behind on slides, guys. Sorry. We missed some. Yeah, this is gonna have to, I'm gonna have to redo this, but here we go. So group decision making, the structures and spontaneity dialect recognize that structured procedures help groups balance a participation, resolve conflicts, organize discussions, and empower members. This can also help solve problems. Too much independence may shatter group cohesion and encourage members to sacrifice group goals to their individual needs. Too much structured work is likely to regiment group thinking and stifle novel ideas. Group communication scholar Marshall Scott Poole. There are many ways to make group decisions. Effective groups match the virtues of each method to the needs and purpose of the group and its tasks. Voting is the easiest and most obvious way to make a group decision. No other method is more effective and decisive. A majority vote requires that more than half of the members vote in favor of a proposal. Some groups use a 2/3 vote rather than a majority rule. This helps avoid animosity and resentment that may fester within the losing group. In a 2/3 vote, at least twice as many group members vote in favor of a proposal as those who vote to oppose it. Voting works best when a group is present for time. The issue is not highly controversial. A group is too large to use any other decision-making methods, and there is no other way to break a deadlock. A group's constitution or rules require voting on certain types of decisions. Voting has built-in disadvantages. Many groups rely on consensus to make decisions. A consensus decision is one that all members have a part in shaping and that all find at least minimally acceptable as a means of accomplishing some mutual goal. Consensus does not mean 100% agreement. Rather, it reflects a sincere effort and willingness to make an acceptable decision that helps the group achieve its common goal. When reaching a consensus can unite and energize a group. Not only does consensus avoid a disruptive win/lose vote, but it also presents a united front to the outsiders. Sometimes groups use authority rule, in which a single person within the group or an outside authority makes final decisions for the group. Groups using this method gather information and recommend decisions to another person or to a larger group. Decision-making styles. The way you make a decision may be quite different from other group members. Two related personality traits from the Myers-Briggs type indicator, thinker and feeler, focus on how we make decisions. The thinkers are task-oriented members who use logic when making decisions. The feelers are more people-oriented members, who want everyone to get along, even if it means compromising to avoid interpersonal problems. When these two personalities work together, misunderstandings often occur. However, when thinkers and feelers appreciate their differences as decision makers, they become an unbeatable team. There are 5 distinct types of decision makers. There's the rational. A rational decision maker carefully weighs information and options before deciding. There's the intuitive decision maker, and intuitive decision makers make decisions based on the instincts and feelings. There's a dependent decision maker. Dependent decision maker seeks the advice and opinions of others before deciding. The avoidant decision maker. These avoidant decision makers are uncomfortable and reluctant when asked to make decisions. Then there's the spontaneous decision makers. Spontaneous decision makers make quick decisions impulsively and spontaneously. Typically my style. Problem solving realities. There we go. Problem solving realities. Groups must consider the realities of problem solving by considering the politics, the pre-existing preferences, power, and the organizational culture. Political views in organizational settings, almost all decisions have a political component. A member who wants to get ahead may be reluctant to oppose an idea supported by the boss. Another, who knows why a plan won't work, may remain silent and ensure the person responsible for implementing the plan fails. It would be naive to assume that all members care equally about achieving the group's common goal. Have you ever been in a position where you knew your boss's suggestion would be a waste of time, but chose not to voice your opinion out of fear of the consequences? I can claim that I have, and I would do it again if I had the chance. Sometimes, under the right conditions, one only needs to remain silent for the hidden objective to become apparent. Pre-existing preferences. An intelligent group member is rarely a blank slate who walks into a meeting, uninformed or unconcerned about the topic or issue to be discussed. Confirmation bias is a tendency to discount information that is inconsistent with a preconceived belief. When we meet something that challenges our beliefs, we often view it as flawed. In addition to holding different opinions, we're also holding different facts, which tends to distort our perception about what is real and what isn't. Next, we have power. The power of individual group members significantly affect whether a group achieves its goals. Powerful people influence group decisions. Highly influential members can convince a group to accept invalid facts and assumptions, introduce poor ideas and suggestions, lead the group to misinterpret information presented to them, or lead the group off on tangents and irrelevant discussions. Couple examples there. Next, we have organizational culture. All groups work in a culture, not a vacuum. Organizations develop their own culture. Organizational culture describes the values, behavioral norms, and expectations that make up the shared environment and beliefs of an organization. This is clear in the way an organization treats its employees and customers. In some organizations, groups are given the freedom to develop innovative ideas and make decisions concerning how they work. In others, there are strict rules and limits on how employees work alone and in groups. Ask yourself whether your group works in, for, or on behalf of any organization like that. Is it aware of the sensitive? Is the organization aware and sensitive to members' needs, interests, and goals? Does it encourage creativity, innovation, and change? Can it adapt to cultural differences such as collectivism and individualism, high power and low power distance, and other aspects of diversity? Are there, models effective communication practices in interpersonal, group, and public environments? Do they respect gender, age, race, ethnicity, religion, political, and personal differences of organizational members? And would you want to work in a group or organization that did not exemplify any of these characteristics? There are other factors associated with a specific organizational culture. Is the dress code formal or informal? Is there a strict and impenetrable hierarchy that separates those at the top from those at the bottom? What metaphor best describes the organization in which you work and collaborate with colleagues today? Is it a zoo, win-all game, a family, a well-oiled machine, a playground, or an obstacle course? Each metaphor carries with it different connotations about the organization and the norms, practices, policies, and processes it embodies: a jungle, a journal, a clan, a party, a win-all game, a family, a well-oiled machine, a playground, or an obstacle course. Each metaphor carries with its different connotation. Oh, that is just a repeat. To sum up, in order to comprehend a collective decision-making and problem-solving, we must first comprehend the kind of environment in which we operate. Is it the process of forming an opinion, selecting a course of action, or coming up with a solution? Or an intricate procedure where teams assess an issue and come up with a plan to either solve it or lessen its negative impacts while making a number of judgments? A clear objective, high quality information, organized processes, a dedication to discussion, and a cooperative communication environment are the 5 requirements for group decision making and problem solving. The single question format is a method of problem solving that centers group analysis on providing an answer to a single predetermined question. And questions of fact, questions of hypothesis, questions of value, and questions of policy are the 4 categories of questions that are used in decision making. Answers to all 4 are necessary for some crucial debates. Groups use voting, consensus building, and/or authoritative rule to make choices. And after taking everything into account, we must confront the fact that fixing the problem is the reality. So after gathering all of the information mentioned above, we're able to explore every possibility required to reach a collectively informed choice. Only then, knowing that we have taken all precaution to select the finest possible result, can we trust our effort and efficiency. Thank you so much for taking the time to be involved in my presentation. I genuinely appreciate each of you and the time you've given me today. God bless and happy group decision making and problem solving. The end.